Now, my boss, Rupert Murdoch, he's been my boss on and off for 30 years. He's been a visionary leader. His audacity and tenacity has helped build a magnificently successful global media empire, and I've enjoyed working with him and learning from him. A little earlier today, he announced he's transitioning to the role of Chairman Emeritus at Fox and News Corp and passing control of the companies to his son, Lachlan. He said in a statement to staff, "Our companies are in robust health, as am I. Our opportunities far exceed our commercial challenges. We have every reason to be optimistic about the coming years. I certainly am, and plan to be here to participate in them. But the battle for the freedom of speech and ultimately the freedom of thought has never been more intense." Hear, hear, boss. Well, for more, I'm joined by Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Joe, a big moment for us in the two companies. I don't know about you, but when I heard this, it was like I didn't ever think I'd hear the day that Rupert Murdoch would stand aside and hand control to someone else like this. But it is his son who's been right by his side now for a number of years. What do you make of it?
I make that this is an epic run to end all epic runs, Piers. I mean, you think about how long Rupert Murdoch has been at the top of the media business. We're talking 7 decades. He was running newspapers before John F. Kennedy was running the United States. We're going all the way back to the 50s. And you think about it's not just newspapers, it's sports, it's media, it's news, it's every type of broadcasting that you can do as far as media conglomerates are concerned. But when you think about what he did with Fox News, for example, launches it in 1996, smart enough to hire an innovator like Roger Ailes, who then took this network, which many people thought would crash and burn in a year or two. In 1996, by 2001, surpassed CNN, which was the only player on the block, and for 25 years basically since has been #1 by a country mile. So you see the profits, you see the success here in the United States, Australia, Britain, and across the world, and you can't find probably somebody who's been more successful in the media business than Rupert Murdoch.
No, I think he's been the greatest of them all. I really do. And the thing I've always loved about Rupert is he's a risk taker and a visionary. He sees something 10 years ahead and he'll bet the bank on it. And almost invariably, it works. You know, not always, but invariably over those decades, again and again and again, he's backed himself. And I think that's an extraordinary gift that some people have. In his statement, he says, "For my entire professional life, I've been engaged daily with news and ideas. That won't change." He talks about Lachlan taking over, a principled, passionate leader who becomes sole chairman now of both companies. He said here, "Neither excessive pride nor false humility are admirable colleagues, but I'm truly proud of what we've achieved collectively through the decades, and I owe much to my colleagues whose contributions to the success have sometimes been unseen." And then he cites, I really like this line, "Whether the truck drivers distributing our papers, the cleaners who toil when we've left the office, the assistants who support us, or the skilled operators behind the cameras or the computer code, we would be less successful and have less positive impact on society without your day-to-day dedication." He talked about how his father believed firmly in freedom. Lachlan is equally committed as Rupert is to that cause of freedom. But there was a great line because people have been seeing this as retirement. And I was like, I've known Rupert Murdoch a long time, 3 decades. I can't ever imagine him just lying on a beach, retired. It's just not going to happen. And there's a great telling line in the statement which confirms my belief. He said, "I'll be watching our broadcast with a critical eye." He's probably watching this now. "Reading our newspapers and websites and books with much interest and reaching out to you with thoughts, ideas and advice. When I visit your countries and companies, you can expect to see me in the office late on a Friday afternoon." And he said that because he's got a real bugbear about this trend in America of people just bunking off on a Friday. So Rupert's going to be still prowling around the newsrooms and the offices of Fox, I'm sure, and here at Talk TV on a Friday night just to check we're putting a shift in. A remarkable guy, incredible work ethic, incredible drive. I think that he loves newspapers, he loves television, he loves politics, he loves the media. You know, he's someone who I think, I've certainly had enormous respect and admiration for a very long time. And I've got a lot to be grateful to him for. You know, he made me editor of his biggest selling newspaper, The News of the World, when I was 28 years old. And he rehired me a couple of years ago to come and do a number of things for him. This show being one of them, columns for his papers, The Sun, The New York Post, crime documentaries for Fox Nation. They've just dropped there, a book for HarperCollins. So that shows you his reach. He was able to offer me everything I do in my entire life Rupert was able to give me that on his platforms. And that shows you the kind of global firepower he's built with that company, or both companies.
Rupert, Piers, I don't think it was totally about money. I mean, obviously you have to make money for your shareholders. This is a business, but I think you nailed it as far as it was a labor of love, that he had a passion for this business, a passion for new ideas and innovation. And that's why we saw the success that Fox had, because it's not about, you're right, he's not the type of guy who's now just going to go off into the sunset and retire. He'll probably still be very active in terms of the exchange of those ideas moving forward. He reminds me of you, quite frankly. I can't see you ever retiring from this business, because you wake up every day and you want to go to work.
Well, also, it doesn't feel like work. I always say to my sons, you know, that one's a journalist, actually, and other's an actor. They both love their stuff, and the youngest one's just left university. I said, if you find a job you love, it actually never feels like work. I doubt Rupert's ever woken up and thought, I've got to go to work. I think he works incredibly hard at something he loves to do. And that's how I always view him, and I'm sure he'll just continue now. Because the burning thing that he has, which I think is what makes all great journalists, actually, he's got intense curiosity. You know, I saw the former editor of The Sun in Scotland, Gordon Smart, and he was talking about a car journey he had with Rupert when he was running the things up in Scotland. And just in this car journey, as they drove around Scotland, Rupert was peppering him with just endless questions about Scottish issues, about architecture, about football, about politics, about media. And you had to be on it, and it really took me back to when I ran a newspaper for him, is that he had his handle on every single nut and bolt of your business. And if you didn't, well, woe betide you. And that's how he became so successful. And that's why people love working for him. Because ultimately, if you shared that philosophy of hard work, graft, have a bit of fun, but win, and winning was always the driving, motivating thing, I think then you would always get on great with Rupert. No problem at all. But I've got a lot to be grateful to him for. I sent him a note today saying how grateful I am, how influential he's been on my life, you know, for a long, long time. And so it was quite a moment today, I've got to say. Joe, I appreciate you joining me. Thank you. It's a big moment for the company. But I've known Lachlan since he was a teenager. A very, very impressive man who's been right at the right hand of his father now for quite a while, running the show. And I've got absolutely no doubt he's going to be great too. So I think we're in good hands.
Thanks, Piers. I agree.
All the best.
Onward and upward.
Yep, absolutely.